We're asked to read this at every meeting pursuant to Mass General Law 30A, Section 20. After notifying the chair of the public body, any person may record or transmit this open meeting. This hybrid meeting is being recorded by the town of Stockbridge. Names of members participating remotely will be announced. Any member of the public wishing to speak must first receive permission from the chair. The agenda items listed are those reasonably anticipated by the chair, but not all may be discussed, and other topics not listed may be brought up for discussion by the public body as permitted by law. So we have one member to two members on Zoom, if you can just identify yourselves.
William Resetaritz.
William Luttrell.
Thanks. Bill R. and Bill L., otherwise known.
Yes.
Yes. So first on the agenda is to approve minutes from Tuesday, August 12th.
As revised.
As revised.
I make a motion to approve the minutes as revised.
I second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye. I, Karen.
Hi, Lisa.
One abstention. I wasn't there.
Bill L.
I, Bill R.
Okay, we're also looking to approve minutes from August 26th. Did people have any comments on those minutes? I had a couple.
Well, I didn't. Go ahead.
Just some clarifications. We talked about tree planting on Clark Road. I think it'd be helpful just to say the planting's happening at Bidwell Park, just to be clear. And John and Judy Payron, if we had an address, that's helpful, so we know which property we're talking about. And this,
All three.
okay, whatever the address is there. And
that meeting ended at 9:15, not 8:15.
I remember that.
Thank you, Bill.
I do remember
It was a late night.
It was.
Right.
Yes.
And since we get paid by the hour, of course.
Right.
That's
Yeah,
very
well.
important.
I was just hopeful.
And the same for the comment on the second page. Dave Cameron reported the condition of the pump station. Identify the property. We know what it is, but in the minutes, it's helpful to just say that Eden Hills. So with those corrections, do we have a motion to approve the minutes?
I'll make a motion to approve them with the corrections.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Oh, Sally.
Hi,
At least-
Karen. Oh, sorry.
Oh, stay.
Abstain.
I,
I,
Bill
Bill
L.
R.
I don't consider that.
Okay.
Attached out.
So the minutes are
Maybe did
approved.
you abstain?
So 16.
Okay, in our informal, we have John Glendening, 6 Brookside Lane, proposed work.
I haven't heard anything from him in a couple of weeks, so I'm not sure that he's done it. That was the property we looked at. They wanted to put the patio
Oh, right. Right.
and,
In the wetland.
yeah, I'm not sure whether he's gonna come back or not.
Okay, so we'll keep that on for a while. First, under public hearing, notice of intent for Mass Department of Fish and Game, 0 Interlaken Road, map 205, lot 13, for an ADA walkway at the boat ramp.
Okay, so I'm gonna introduce myself. I met some of the members at the meeting that was held on Friday after the public hearing. My name is Terry Smith. I'm the acting director of Fishing and Boating Access. So when I learned about the meeting on Friday, I wanted to come out and meet on site with the board because I couldn't attend the public portion of the hearing because I was away for a conference out of state. So I took feedback from members of the board and public who showed up there. And so we're gonna ask for a continuance for for this project until next month. But I would like to discuss what we did based upon what we've done engineering wise based upon the feedback that was held at the site visit. So there's a set of plans for everybody. It's in color.
Anyone that wants to
Did you
come
have
up.
a date in mind next month?
It could be, we need about 1 month's time to
So
finish.
we're the second and fourth Tuesday.
So the fourth, I would. Fourth Tuesday, I think would be best.
Do you want?
So that would be October 28th.
I think that's fine.
Okay.
So I took the feedback from the commission, from some of the discussion that was on site. And then relayed it. George Willis is the staff engineer that works for us for fishing and boating access, that's working on the design in-house for this. So this project started with was brought forward actually by the town. 2 years ago, the town actually appropriated $25,000 for repurposing of the accessible floating dock system that was installed behind the rec area, behind the Red Lion Inn. And it was never used. It was put in one season, removed, and it sat there for years and years and years. So the town wanted a kayak launch or kayak access improvements made at Stockbridge Bowl. So they approached us and the town administrator and I and my predecessor as the director came out here and we met. And in 2020, I did a little bit of reading and a little bit of research, and I found tonight the land management agreement that was executed on the 25th of August in 2020 between the Department of Fish and Game and the town of Stockbridge Board of Select Board. And so basically what it does is it obligates the Fish and Game Department through my agency for reconstruction repairs that are necessary due to the effects of weather and normal public usage. And then it has conditions for the municipality to be responsible for day-to-day policing operations of the facility, as well as signage, and as well as making sure that the facilities use consistent with the intended purpose for fishing and boating access, nothing else.
We were not able to find that agreement.
Well, it was executed by the select board and
Remember that?
it will be shared with the town administrator. And I think the select board, my understanding is going to be present at the next meeting when we come forward, since they're involved in the agreement with the town for this.
I spoke to Michael before the meeting and he said he was unaware of this agreement.
Yeah, there was an
Hired
interim,
him.
there was an interim town manager. So it's just before Michael was hired. He was hired in October. This was executed in August of 2020. But the select board at the time, and basically the agreement goes on and it spells out the obligations of the Commonwealth through the agreement. It's basically in perpetuity. Basically, unless it's mutually dissolved by the parties, you can't dissolve it. And there's no supplemental like monies or anything that are sufficient for either party to breach the agreement. It shall remain in effect until mutually dissolved or modified in writing by the department and the municipality. So this was signed by your select board back then. But to get back to the wetlands related matters, with it, the accessible boarding float on the plan that you have in front of you is where the intent was to repurpose what the town already had. So it has a gangway and it has a floating dock system with the ramp for the kayak. It's over at the site now. So when it's all pieced together, that's the shape of it. It was an orange. The light blue is the accessible handicap accessible walkway. There's no way to avoid having switchbacks or anything with this. Because like you would enter town hall, we're obligated to provide accessibility in accordance with the Massachusetts Architectural Access Board standards related to recreational facilities for slopes of the walkway, for how long the walkway can be before you have to have a landing area that's level to give someone a break. And that, so that was on the plan that George had prepared and presented before. The purple area here is basically due to the normal use of weather, the existing paved area that's above the top of the boat ramp is in poor condition. It creates tripping hazards for people and things. So the correct thing to do as part of this project is to remove the pavement that's there to the top of the concrete boat ramp and to repave it. And then the area that was proposed to be paved is all in purple here. There's no driveway apron, which is typically a town standard for zoning wise. That when you create a driveway entrance off of the town road, it's typically paved. So all of the water comes down. I looked at this myself. All of the water comes from the south along Route 183. And then it comes on to the property of the Commonwealth. And then it goes into a cross culvert under the driveway. So the whole plan of this, and based upon the discussions we had on site, was the commission seemed to have concerns with stormwater management on the site. So what we did is we're capturing the water that comes down 183. That's gonna go and go into the cross culvert that it's intended to go in. The grass area and the driveway areas, we're proposing to regrade the whole driveway and regrade the whole parking lot area. We've created a high point and a low point with a bioretention area and then a storm scepter water quality inlet. We've added deep sump catch basins so that our stormwater management trained for TSS removal. And that's what George needs to work on. But basically we're capturing all of the water that comes, off of the state road and trying to send it where it's intended to go. And then capture the stuff that's on the property, send it to a low point to these catch basins and into the storm and through the bioretention area and the water quality and utilizing existing outlet pipe that's there with improvements for riprap end. And then that would go over behind, it goes off and goes into the woods. So the only area now that will contribute water down towards the boat ramp area is from this high point here, is this area of the parking area. So at the last public hearing, it was brought up by a member about trying to use bioretention.
Show us where you're pointing. Thank you. Yeah.
So it was brought up by a member at the last public hearing, the idea of using a bioretention area to try to capture some of the water that was associated with the impervious area of the walkways and things. So we're doing that. We're going to grade this area here in purple is going to be graded and go into a rain garden that is here. And then the slopes that everyone was concerned about, the erosion and stuff, we are going to propose to do plug plantings with that. So it took everyone's, the thoughts that the commission had on site. It's a little unusual, honestly. Every town can do it differently, but it is a little unusual to have a site visit after a public hearing. Normally, we do that ahead of the public hearing so that everyone understands what's being presented, and then you don't end up with confusion if no one's looked at the plans ahead of time. So that's why I wanted to show up. Otherwise, it would have been at the last hearing. But like I said, I was away for a state's organization for boating access at the national conference and couldn't be here at the last one. So So I think that our overall plan here is a big improvement. We've also, to keep the water and to direct it where it needs to go into these areas, we're also proposing all granite edge stone. That would be, basically a granite curb, even though this is around the entire perimeter of the parking area. What that will do is it'll allow us to create a crown in the driveway and a crown profile for the parking lot area. It'll send the waters to the gutter line, so you'll actually have like gutter flow that'll go into the catch basins. Otherwise, it just tends to, just spread out, and then it'll be directed into the bioretention area. But George has a fair amount of work that he needs to do for the stormwater management plan.
One question. So for the stormwater plan, are you managing for the 100-year storm?
I would, well,
We get every year.
yeah, I could, it's probably that bioretention.
We'll manage for what the regulations require us to manage for. Is what we'll manage for, because the 100-year storm is, that's a 1% chance every year.
But they're happening more often.
Right.
Yeah.
But we,
So what, do you know what the regulations call for?
usually it's usually a 10 or 25-year
Yeah,
storm,
25 would be my goal.
which is a 4% chance every year.
Okay. Even if you, okay.
Yeah, so that's, because if we commit to doing a 100-year storm, we're limited by the footprint of the property, right? And we're limited by the groundwater conditions. We're limited by what there is for space. There's existing structures that are already in place that we're improving.
Mhm.
The piping network that's there already, the catch basins that are there already, but haven't been maintained. So it's a redevelopment project, really.
Well, I appreciate that you listened to the comments. And
Yeah, so I
Thank
tried to incorporate,
Yeah.
in relay, mind you, we just had this meeting and George did a lot of work to get this.
Thank you.
Just a couple days to get it.
Thank you.
A revision. So through that formal land management agreement, we do have a very established partnership with the town of Stockbridge for management of the site and stuff going forward. So the changes to the job are probably going to drive the project cost up about 2.5 times, but that's we're prioritizing projects currently as to what we're going to put out to bid this year. And so if we can move forward and get all the permits in place, we hope to put this to bid before the end of December or maybe right after the change of the calendar year, so it can be completed this fiscal year before. The goal would be to try to complete it before Memorial Day.
Okay.
So.
Do you happen to know the drawdown periods?
There are no.
Don't do.
It never gets drawn down.
Mm-mm. Our concern is at this very moment, we are faced with 2 projects that were in fact designed for the 100-year storm and have not turned out to be successful. So we are seeing so many projects that are over-designed perhaps, but still can't handle the storms that we
Heavy
see.
rain.
Yeah, it's the intensity of the storms. They're not modeled as we would typically design for. It's hard to design for an inch of rain that falls in 10 minutes.
Right, but that's what we're seeing.
Yeah.
See it more.
Yeah, and we're in a drought right now, hoping for rain.
Yeah, but when you have the drought, the heavy rains
Right.
in the middle of the drought,
Right.
the soil can't absorb the water and it just makes it worse.
I was fishing Quabbin today and I was, the water level going down an inch a day over that massive watershed. And stuff, built a boat ramp last year, now it's in the dry.
So does anyone have
We have
questions?
letters
Okay.
from,
I had a question. So in this triangle area,
Yep.
and you may have answered this,
Yeah.
is there any way to change the grade or is it not
We
Would it be
are.
too expensive? Like,
Those are
would it be able to,
the triangular areas, and these are the contour lines of the proposed grades versus
Okay.
the existing. So
okay,
we're completely like
like changing it?
We're
Okay,
completely reprofiling the driveway so that it has a crown and so that it has
because it
continuous
is pretty
slope.
steep.
And so in this scenario, what's gonna happen is right now, the water runs down. It's all a continuous
Mhm.
slope down here. We're creating a high point here, so we're taking all
So
of
it can
this.
go into the base.
So all of
Okay.
this here is coming here to the
Okay.
water quality
That's what it
outlet.
was,
So only from
this
here,
line.
here, from here down is coming, but the water here now is gonna go,
Hopefully
will
go
go
to here.
here and to
Okay.
there. And so it's just that
All
little area here that.
Okay.
Well, I want to see if people have questions, and we had letters from the public too.
Letters from two of the immediate, well, three of the immediate abutters. One from Jane Iredale saying, regarding the proposed changes to the boat ramp, I would like to make two suggestions. As an abutter to the boat ramp, I walk there frequently with my dog. In all weathers, I have noticed considerable runoff while it's raining, more worrying after the rain. Water pours down from the road with nothing to stop it from entering the lake. The water flows down the boat ramp into the lake at will, carrying debris, pollutants, and salt in the winter. Is it possible to put a buffer zone between the access road and the ramp itself? I believe this would make a considerable difference to the health of the lake. Secondly, I have seen how important the grassy area is to the people who use the space for boating and picnicking. This is a recreational area as well as being essential to the lake. Is it possible to increase the area? Since I have also noticed considerable erosion along the bank, I'm wondering if it could be addressed by planting more trees and shrubs. This would help with runoff and erosion, as well as increasing the pleasure of the lake for those who use it at the boat ramp. I believe strongly, as you know, that we must think long-term about this special lake. We must be careful not to increase the areas on this, the stress on the ecosystem if we are to have a lake that can be enjoyed for years to come. If it is already under considerable pressure as seen by the proliferation of weeds and continual erosion, in my mind, it serves no purpose to increase access to the lake no longer. If the lake no longer exists as an area for recreational pleasure. The recent algae blooms are a good example of access to the lake being curtailed. Thank you for all you do to protect this special area. Then this was echoed by the abutter to the other side of the boat ramp. And then with my wife, Jane Iredale, I too am an abutter, and I would like to add further comment to her letter. Unfortunately, neither of us can attend the meeting this evening due to prior commitments. The proposed site design for the walkway virtually transforms an area that is now used extensively for picnicking by boaters or parents of boaters, or many others who just want to enjoy lakeside scenery, into a concrete-dominated juggernaut i.e. the long ADA-approved ramp. It effectively renders not only the area available for casual recreation immediately next to the water's edge into the public utility. On countless days throughout the summer, this grassy natural area is populated with an estimated 15 to 30 people sitting on blankets, picnic chairs, and the like. I will maintain that their experience will be significantly degraded by this construction. In addition, the hardship transformation in the proposed siting will surely compromise a vast root system of mature trees now leaning over the water and already compromised by erosion. From the perspective of the public service requirement to make boating accessible to handicapped individuals, this initiative is laudatory. However, as noted, this hardscape design is seriously and negatively impacting one of the only two public access points on the entire lake perimeter for lakeside recreation. Perhaps a straight line ramp could be constructed that such that assisted wheelchair use is workable. I'm not qualified to comment, but it seems to me that most, if not all, handicapped individuals attempting to board a boat or other floating device will require assistance. Most people beyond a certain age who are not handicapped required such assistance. Sincerely, Bob McCrumley. And I think this is something that we need to understand as a town. We had a long conversation, you and I, about what is required of this boat ramp and what its purpose is. And its purpose, despite the way it's been used over the years, is not for picnicking. It is not for playing with your dog. It is not for swimming. In fact, those are prohibited. And
There are regulations.
it is posted on signs at the boat ramp and always has been. So I think people's perception of the way it has been and the way it's supposed to be are not the same. And we need to
And that's, in that, honestly.
understand that.
You know, when we invest in a facility, and I'm gonna explain to you a little bit of the history about this. This was a Berkshire County right of way, contained 4.8 acres. And so when the counties were dissolved, the property went into the custody of the Division of Capital Asset Management for the state. And so it essentially become put into the custody of the state because the county, Berkshire County, was dissolved. And so with that, because of all of these existing public access facilities, and it was acquired for public fishing and boating access to a great pond of the Commonwealth. Citizens of the Commonwealth have a shared interest in that lake. It's a great pond. It's not like New York, where a lake can be owned privately. It's a naturally occurring water body that all citizens of the Commonwealth have an interest in. I live on one of those lakes in a different part of the state. Drives my neighbors crazy because they think, oh, no one should be able to fish near my dock. No one should be able to kayak near my, you know, or that. No, they have a right. That goes back. That's why Massachusetts is a Commonwealth. It goes back to colonial laws that were put in place and stuff. So, you know, so I understand, like, people think of things as this is my lake or our lake or whatever. It's not something that can be parochialized. It's like living next to a state forest. And so, you know, so there's, in one of the letters that you read, there's very limited waterfront access in Berkshire County on lakes like this. We have a project at Laurel Lake that we're gonna be doing later. You know, and so there's very few of these, you know, water bodies that have the water frontage. So people, when they come here, ecotourism is a big part of the Berkshires. When people come here and they come from out of state, or maybe used to what exists in their state for what's public or private and what they can and can't do. And so when we made a commitment to make improvements here and we started getting calls about this, that's why we executed the land management agreement with the town. But it was done during COVID. It was done in an interim town administrator that was in place. But that correlates to our rules and regulations, which are very specific. And, you know, and I think it would perhaps be a good idea for the town to look at that agreement and to educate the boat ramp monitors who are there. They don't want to get involved in some of the things, but when I show up, because I do show up out here quite often, most of the facilities out here, I've done a lot of construction myself with my own hands, building the jobs. And when I come by Stockbridge Bowl, I see people with their picnic tables set up and their wine glasses out and all of these different things right there with the boat ramp monitor, sometimes there right near the shed and stuff. We are not a state park. This is intended for fishing and boating access. So Yes, so things that traditionally have gone on, and as we discussed at the site visit, each site has its own uniqueness to it. I mean, this has a uniqueness, it's right next to Tanglewood, it's right on the Lennox town line.
So I want to
And-
cut you off here and give people a chance to ask some questions.
So,
If anyone has a question,
I
comment?
have a question. So my name is Kate Fletcher and I was at the site visit.
sure,
And I'd like to just start by thanking you for the changes that you're working on here. I definitely appreciate it.
thank you.
One question I have is you mentioned runoff that's being directed to a culvert. Do we know where that culvert then leads to?
Yeah, it's visible, it's just not, hasn't been maintained, the grass isn't cut around it, but it.
Is it like one of those iron grates?
No, well, at the drive, there's two. There's one that's at the driveway entrance, which is basically takes the water coming off of 183, like one of those letters explain in here, but the water tends to not go into the culvert, to go under the driveway and into the woodlands, and instead it's short circuiting the property here, and the water's running like this and down, and then it goes through the grass and.
Okay, so
into here.
when you say culvert, you're not referring to one of those drain grids?
No, there are existing catch basin grades. There are existing catch basins also that are actually in the grass areas, but they haven't been maintained.
So,
So they're not capturing water right now. But there is an existing pipe outlet that.
but I guess my question is, those iron patch
Yep,
grids, if water were going into those,
yep.
where would it then?
It goes to there's an outlet pipe, right here.
Okay,
Yeah, so here is the boat wash station. So it goes into the woods.
okay,
Yeah, there, it's just that those haven't been maintained. They probably never have been cleaned in a real long time. And so the water is just not going because of the grading, and they're just not capturing things the way they were intended to when this was built by the county back in 1958 or.
I guess I'd be interested to hear from the freshwater biologist on the Concom as to whether he feels that approach is to routing the runoff water is going to be a effective approach. And
I mean, that'll be addressed in our stormwater management plan. The stormwater management plan will be submitted to DEP, and it has to meet DEP guidelines.
okay, and then another, you mentioned a boat ramp monitor, and someone can correct me if I'm wrong, but my understanding was, and I think Michael's here and he would know, is that person is actually monitoring for zebra mussels. I'm not sure that they're actually just monitoring the boat ramp.
They're monitoring for all invasives, but.
They have no other duties other than the zebra mussels
Well,
and those.
I would imagine with what there is in the lake that they also should be monitoring for milfoil and.
Right, but they are not, they are not charged with doing
Yeah,
boating.
they're not there to
They're
enforce
not.
our regulations.
No, they're not.
Right.
They're very, very limited.
No, but it would be but the other towns like Richmond, that have their own town boat ramp monitors, DCR has them at Laurel Lake. They are familiar with our regulations, so when people, I mean, some of these areas turn into dog walking areas where people, instead of picking up poop at their own house, they bring them to a public area, let the dogs run. Well, that's not too environmentally friendly, and that's something that could be, easily addressed by the town as well.
I agree.
Do you have
Just
another-
if I can, one more
Sure.
point I just want to make is that, and this is just a comment. So, when some of the people who have written in have talked about people using the area in front of the fence as a place to hang out and picnic. And I would just say that, in support of that idea, and I realize that, these plans probably preclude that. This property was taken by eminent domain, and I realize it's become, boating and fishing. But to me, just because of this history, if there is some flexibility in some way to think of this a little differently, given that people do like to be out by the lake and picnic and hang out.
Well,
Yeah.
we encourage people to get to the outdoors. It's just, you know, I mean, I show up there when we had our meeting and you had left early. That it was really full when we all arrived.
That's
There was,
yeah.
right? And then when we left, we were the last ones to leave. Everyone was gone,
So I also.
except for one boat trailer
Given that
and
we're
the
the
person was
Concom,
fishing.
given that we're the Concom, I want to keep this to wetlands issues. Any other questions?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm Tom Stokes and 49 Lincoln, which is across the way, which is property that we own. And then my neighbors who also are across the way they're at 49 Interlaken, I'm at 51 Interlaken, but they've asked me to say a few things here.
Sure.
Most especially, I think we're all interested in the trees. And the trees, in my mind, that are along the lake are very important feature. And they're oak and the branch fairly high, you can see through them. But they're being challenged right now from the severe erosion that's taking place. And first of all, are there any plans to remove any of the oak trees along the edge?
There's two small oak trees. We've designed actually the layout of where
The two smaller oak, there's a large one right by the.
there's a
ramp.
large one near the ramp that isn't gonna be disturbed at all.
And then there's
And then
another larger one.
there's another larger one that has two smaller oaks, and there's at least one of those oaks is not healthy.
Right, there are three together, and then between them, there are a couple.
Like two little ones that are like this big around, or two smaller ones, but we designed this to take in the location of that, to take into account not having to do any tree removal or anything.
Well, I thank you for saying that, and I think we all.
In the whole parking lot perimeter
There
as
can be
well.
some additional trees planted.
Well, we're gonna be doing a lot of plantings now along in this area. In the area where it's eroded before we had proposed, and I asked George to clarify, to regrade the slopes to maximum 2.5 to 1, loam and seed stabilized with biodegradable matting and plant with native plugs and stakes. It's 490 square feet. So everything below this, basically.
Specifically, will there be more trees planted in that area? That's my question.
No, we're gonna.
I would hope that you could reconsider that and plant more trees, because there's some that have died through there's one very large stump, and looking into the future, I think those oak trees are both very attractive, and the root system really helped stop the erosion, and they bring in some of the stormwater runoff. So I would hope that as part of this plan, you could not only plant more trees in that slope area, but also along the edge of the driveway, particularly on the south, where the Iredale property, there are some large trees that have been removed recently there. And it seems to me that they don't impede.
They were removed on the abutters. They were removed on the abutters property, not on our property.
Well, there's some on your side of the fence. And I think it would be really, the abutters put up a fence, but on
Well, we
the
can.
north side of the fence.
We can look at that area.
I'm sorry?
We can look at plantings along this area.
Yeah,
I mean, that's just the grass area along the water.
If in the future the Concom wanted to do additional plantings, would we be able to do that?
If I could just say another thing, there is a history of the town working with the state.
Sure.
We were we really set some precedent when we put some regulations on the bowl for no jet skis and quiet times.
Yep.
And speed limits, and that was done in collaboration with the state. We had to pass those draft rules at a town meeting.
Right, yeah.
And the state had to approve it.
Right.
So there's a history of collaboration here.
Right, and that's why having a up-to-date land management agreement specific for this, our agency's responsibility is the land side, the environmental police and the
Right.
Division of Fisheries and Wildlife under other general laws were who
Exactly,
You would
that's
work
true, but,
that, but we try to our rules and regulations apply to the land side of things, and we work closely with,
all right.
with that, because if things are organized and they're managed well on the land, then it leads to less issues on the water.
Right.
So this would seem like maybe there's a nice intersection of different needs right now, because aren't we looking for places to plant trees
Yep.
for the national grid?
Yeah, Lisa and I were just mentioning that,
Yeah.
but it might be,
Yeah.
That's why I asked that question. If down the line we wanted to plant more trees there, would we be?
Well, I'm just gonna come right out and say this. I'm not in favor of planting more trees along the water line.
Why not?
And I'm gonna tell you why, because there's very limited shore fishing access in Berkshire County where the Commonwealth has property. And it leads to tangled fishing line. It leads to people not being able to do that. And it's against our regulations for people to fish off of the boarding float that's gonna be installed.
Well,
But we're
Heard that you
doing
expressed that
plantings,
on
and
the
we
site.
have a big area along here. I'm listening to you along the property line and along that side. And if there's other areas on site, but this area in here,
I would ask that,
you know, I listened to the Concom on site about having a dense, low growing type of planting on there, and that's really what we're trying to do for shoreline stabilization. But it's gonna really, keep this in mind. We're trying to encourage, mom and dad to bring their little kids fishing to some of these sites. And there's very limited shore fishing access on public water bodies in Berkshire County.
now I hear you loud and clear, but I would posit that the existing trees there don't inhibit the people who fish.
No, they don't.
And
The
I
existing
think more trees like that likewise would not, we're not talking about bushy evergreens, we're talking about deciduous oak trees and that would eventually be larger trees for future generations. And I think it'd be important looking way into the future that more trees be planted at this juncture. So I feel quite strongly about that, and I know my neighbors agree on that. Just a couple other things. The red areas you talk about concrete, can't that be permeable?
It's not concrete, it's blacktop.
Pardon?
The purple area is blacktop.
Could you possibly consider a permeable surface?
In this situation, we talked about this on site. Our national boating state's organization for national boating access. Okay, there's studies that exist that shows when you have airport mix or dense graded parking lots, all of that runoff and the fines out of it run into the lake. Everyone gets concerned about that. Then you add more and it goes into the lake. If you manage the stormwater appropriately and you work to pave it, it would be better water quality standpoint if your stormwater system is developed properly and it's designed properly. But as a means of compromise from our meetings on site, we came up with the idea of reprofiling the parking lot that's there. But from a standpoint, you have existing boat ramp area that's already paved. It's in a condition that needs to be repaved. It's on a
But it's not asphalt.
15% slope. It is asphalt.
Okay,
It is on a 15% slope. So the idea of using like a pervious pavement, the water isn't gonna permeate into something that's on a slope that's 15%.
Well, it would, but it would just.
so what about the parking area for the handicapped accessible?
This area here, sir, it's paved all the way straight up to here.
But what about the parts north of that?
In this area here,
Right.
that has to be designed so that it's handicap accessible.
I understand
It's a
that.
23
What is there in the handicap regulations that says it can't be permeable surface?
It could be, but that's not what we're proposing.
What would you
And
consider a permeable surface? And also a blacktop is.
We've minimized the pavement area that's appropriate for this project.
Okay, on behalf of myself and my wife and my neighbors, I'd ask that you consider having that additional parking place permeable surface that's not black and
It's
absorbs.
23 feet by 69 feet.
Pardon?
It's 23 feet by 69
Yes.
feet, so it's
Every
about the
little bit-
length of a
every
car
little bit
and it's
counts.
69 feet wide, which is 6 parking spaces.
And
And it's appropriate for someone that's.
Quite a lot of heat. I would ask that you reconsider that.
We considered options for how we would design this from an accessibility standpoint and feel that this is the best one. As a means of compromise, we're taking water and stormwater.
You explained that.
That's coming here and we've created a high point so it no longer drains to the lake. This is a huge improvement over what's there.
It is, and at this point, I want to start to wrap this up. So
Just finally,
Tom,
yeah.
if
who
it's,
wants to wrap?
yeah, if it's a very short question, because we have a
Okay,
long
this
agenda.
third point, I have a personal stake in this, in that this land was taken by eminent domain from my family.
Okay,
And so we really value it and we're
when
delighted.
was it?
Let him finish, please.
Okay.
Go on.
Okay, no, I'm just trying to, I want to, because there's, for clarity purposes. Okay, there's still taking of land. I don't know, some of it, that we still do orders of taking, but the orders of taking through eminent domain, sometimes people were compensated for that.
They were.
If I can interrupt.
So it's like a sale of land.
Pardon?
It's a sale of land. It's not necessarily like it was.
So for last comment here, if you can just make the comment and then we're going to close this portion.
Okay, so anyway, this is a historic district also,
Mhm.
registered and abutting land. So thank you for your considerations.
Thank you. I appreciate the input and, you know, and I have, I mean, honestly, in another town, with what we're gonna come in here with for a stormwater system and based upon what we have for, you know, from things that in other locations, you can come in here and potentially propose for this entirely to be paid, and we're not doing that. We're listening and we're trying to maintain the aesthetics character by timber guardrails, by using granite edge stone versus bituminous berm in areas. We're redirecting the runoff. I mean, I've heard loud and clear, and we're a very tiny agency that instead of spending $175,000 as we came in here with a project, we're probably now looking at probably like over a $400,000 project.
So thank
I
you.
think
Thank
everyone-
you for listening to us. We appreciate it.
You know, and incorporating bioretention areas, storm scepter units, deep sunk catch basins, we're trying to control everything that we can on this.
We do appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you,
Thank
George,
you.
too.
And
So-
we'll, at this time, I just request a continuation.
Yeah,
So
but I have it listed
October 20.
for October 28th.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you for
Thank you.
thank you for your work. And thank you for the comments.
Thank you.
So next on the agenda is the Westdale Conservation Restriction, Loveless property, which I think we are waiting for. We provided comments to Laurel Hill and we're waiting comments to be
So we
brought to
are-
Laurel Hill.
We have a properties committee meeting on next week. So we meet on a monthly basis, so I haven't had a chance to bring those comments yet,
Okay.
but I will next year. I mean,
Hopefully before next year.
maybe I will wait till next year. I don't know.
Okay, do you want to continue to the next meeting?
Sorry.
Continue it to
Do you
the
want to
next meeting.
continue it till the next meeting?
Yeah, sure.
Or out further?
So do we have a
What's the
motion?
next meeting?
The next meeting is the 23rd.
I mean, but we're not on that wasn't a public hearing, so we
It
don't.
is in the public hearing
Yes,
area.
yeah.
You can
So
put
what-
it down under public hearing?
Yep.
Oh, yeah, you should continue it.
So do we have a motion to continue this until September 23rd?
I make a motion, we continue it till September 23rd.
Second,
Second.
all in favor?
Hi.
Hi, Sally.
Hi, Lisa.
Hey, Bill L.
Hi, Jamie.
Hi,
I
Karen.
Bill R.
Great, thank you.
Okay.
Next, we have Parks and Recreation Tree Planting, Anthony Dominino, National Grid representative, to coordinate planting and watering for trees, as well as, I think, to talk about a dollar reimbursement for the trees that aren't being planted.
Lisa?
Yep, I'm online this evening.
Save the plate for me.
Okay,
Thank you.
okay, go ahead, Anthony.
And we might
So I
have,
had,
yeah, I'm sure you've probably tuned a lot of this out, but we might have another site to plant a couple of trees.
Well, I think we're taking dollar reimbursement for the trees not being planted, but go ahead, Anthony.
yeah, that's right. And I had forwarded a updated plan. Hopefully that got into everybody's hands, but if not, I can share my screen either way and just run through.
Don't think you can.
I don't think you can share your screen, but we did get the
Oh.
plan.
Okay. Well,
We had-
the highlights.
Porno bomb.
Oh yeah. We like to avoid that when we can. I get it. So I think the main items from it were that we are able to fit 23 of the 46.
Mhm.
So half of that total, and so the remaining 23 would be reimbursed. And Mass Electric is prepared to offer $600 per tree for that remaining number. And like I said, we have the approximate locations to fit the 23 that do fit behind the 50 Main Street town office within Bidwell Park, and keeping those to the perimeter so as to avoid the center area, which may be utilized by Parks and Rec in other ways in the future.
Mhm.
We've got those three main species proposed: the white oak, red maple, and American linden, based on availability, of course, but that's what we're aiming for and what our preliminary outreach has found that we can get through our the National Grid or Mass Electric contractor and nursery. And those are going to be 1.5 to 2 inch diameter at their installation, and they come with a 1-year warranty. And there's also included in that a watering plan for that first year. I think the plan is a series of watering bags, and those will be checked on. So if there's any questions, happy to answer them. A schedule, and as far as schedule goes, I guess we're a little up against it. We have to re-engage with the contractor to see if they can fit that in within this planting period. But
Okay.
hoping to at least have this plan approved this evening if that's possible, or updated if necessary.
Okay, appreciate all the work that went into this. And will you coordinate with the Park and Rec, Katie, just to let her know when this is happening?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, if Katie's the best, I have her email and I can.
Yeah, I think she would be the best person to coordinate with, and we would just take the money for the.
Yeah,
for the
yeah.
That would, if you could coordinate that with Ron Broker, the chair, that would be great. I did talk to him about it, and he's good with that. So unless people have questions, I think we've looked at this plan quite a bit. I would ask for a motion to accept the planting of the 23 trees and the reimbursement of the other 23 at $600 per tree, and a year warranty in watering.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Hi, Karen.
Hi, Sally.
Hi, Lisa.
Hi, Joe.
Hi, Jamie.
I Bill R.
I Bill L.
Okay, Thank you, Anthony, for all that work, and hopefully they'll get in this fall.
Yeah, absolutely. My pleasure, and thanks you all. Thank you all for your input on this one. We're almost there.
Yep, we are. It's been a long haul, but thank you
All right, take care.
too. Next on the agenda, we have a notice.
I need to know who Sabbath Law is.
Who is Savit Law?
That's Meredith Savitt and Philip Rosenberg were the owners at the Dugway property.
Oh, great, thank you. So next on the agenda, we have a notice of intent, Lucy Holland, 44 Interlaken Road, map 212, lot 59, and we have SK Design here to
Yes,
talk about it.
we are requesting an extension to the October 14th meeting. please.
Okay. Do we have a motion to continue this to October
You can
14th?
just do it on their request.
We can just do it. It's done.
Thank you.
You're continued. Thank you. Next, we have a RDA for Stephen Brunel, 33 Interlaken Road. Map
Is there anyone?
11, 33.
This is on Interlake Crossroad.
No, this,
I just didn't want to turn my back to you. Good evening, for your record, Jim Scalise from SK Design Group. Following up on our site visit we had on the Friday before the holiday weekend. We had gone out and taken a look at the site, and I presented at that meeting that we were going to move all activities out of the buffer zone, and that we were going to minimize clearing, and that we were going to do only selective clearing in front of the home in the buffer, which is in the outer buffer zone, greater than 50 feet from the resource area. And then I think upon inspection, we all kind of agreed that most of the understory is invasives. And that, so I have on the plans notes that your definition of a tree is 4 inches at breast height. So no trees will be removed, according to this plan. And
Unless it's buckthorn.
unless it's buckthorn or I have permission. So I think we came to a general agreement. If I missed anything, I have a stormwater management plan also submitted. That's not urgent. From our perspective, we're happy to discuss that further. The RDA, we'd like to start some site work if possible, as soon as possible, if that's okay. But we do have temporary erosion controls, and we also have a temporary sediment basin. That's also been moved outside of the buffer zone. So we're prepared to manage the site while we're working. We'd like to start in a week or so. But really pending any conditions or other comments I may have missed or you may have.
great. Do we have any comments from people that were on the site visit or the last meeting?
If we close the hearing tonight, then we sign it at the next meeting, and
Okay.
then you have the 10-day appeal period.
Is there an appeal period for an RDA? I don't know.
Oh, yeah, no.
I don't know.
No,
if
there
there
isn't.
is. Okay, so after
Never
the next
mind.
meeting.
Never mind.
Okay.
Pretend I didn't say that.
That's okay.
Okay.
I thought I learned something. That's okay.
So give me the wording here. We approve the RDA? Okay.
As presented
We,
or as
does
revised.
someone want to make a motion to approve the RDA as presented?
I'll make that motion that we approve the plan as presented.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Hi, Sally.
And Lisa?
Hi, Joe.
Hi, Jamie.
Hi, Karen.
I'm Bill R.
Hey, Bill L.
Great. Thank you for making those changes.
Oh, absolutely. My pleasure. I'm also on the agenda for the DeSisto project. I'm not prepared to really present anything. My sense of it is that we need our experts to meet on site. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yeah.
You want me to have my expert reach out to your expert?
David?
David?
Hi, David.
I am here.
Did you hear the question?
Yeah, my understanding is Goddard Consulting is the expert. Is that correct, Jim?
Yes, it is. That's correct.
Yeah, that's fine. I think I just needed to get clarification from the commission. My understanding was the commission wanted me to do a formal peer review under Mass General Law 44. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, so I will get a quote to the commission and to do that work. I did take a quick review of the ANRAD. It looks, and Jim, correct me if I'm wrong, but it looks like you guys are only looking at a very discrete portion of the property, the eastern portion.
That's correct. Yeah,
Yeah.
we're only proposing development in that area, so that's the limit of it. Yes.
Yeah, so it looked like there were two BVW boundaries, so that should probably be a pretty quick effort. So I'll get a quote to the commission, and I guess they'll run that by you guys, and then Steve Riverty and I will coordinate, get on site.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Great, thank you,
That-
David.
Yes, thanks so much.
If it's possible, I don't know if other members of the commission would like to go to that meeting, but is that possible? Will you let us know when you set it up?
Of course.
Great.
Okay, thank you. Anything else?
No, that's all I have. Thank you. I appreciate it. You sneak that in.
Yep, sure.
Thank you. Good night.
Okay, then we have a RDA for John and Judith Perrin at 1 Larry Walk. Lots 5 and 2, Overton Driveway.
Good evening. I guess I'll just repeat myself from the last time now that we got the paperwork in. We're looking for two things. One was a release
Certificate of compliance.
certificate of compliance. This is where we lived at 8 Interlaken Road. This was 1 Larry Wog, this whole area up here. We got a notice for conditions to do a replication area and work in this area. What we've done recently is we divided the property to sell the house. So we're looking for, what is that called?
The certificate of compliance.
Certificate of compliance. It's basically, we'd like it on these 2 lots as everything pertained to this area. The sale of the house went through, the lawyers let it go through. They saw the plans, didn't think it would be a problem. So it's just for these people that bought the house, that none of this pertains to them. Because we have this other lot now. While I'm here, I'd kind of like to get it for that lot also.
Yep.
So I don't have to come back.
Compliance. for that?
Certificate of compliance, because it's the same thing. Everything we did was on this lot. We've done the replication area, the plantings, the silt fence. It's been done for 2 years.
And have we seen it?
Nobody has seen it.
So we would need to.
So if you want to do a site visit, I have pictures of the progress.
Okay.
Joe, you asked last time. Berkshire Engineering did come and lay out the area, and he did come and check on me while I was doing the excavation. We have pictures of all the plantings. Judy has receipts for all the plants, the grass seed, everything we got. So that's one thing. The other thing is, and it's a DOA for the driveway. I know you asked for a little better explanation of the property. Because this has been just recently split up, this is now 8 Interlaken Road. I don't think the town has assessed how this is going to be, but it's probably going to be, this is probably going to remain 1 Larry Wog. This might be 1A. I'm not sure. But now that we've sold the house, all our utilities came in through this property before. Part of the planning board's decision with this was that this could not be a shared drive. So this driveway is blocked off. So we're going to access the drive, access the building from Larry Wog.
So do we have a written RDA for that?
Yes,
We're here?
yes.
Can I see it? Haven't seen it.
So we did obtain a permit years ago to clear and maintain an area up to the 50-foot buffer zone, which is this here. Pretty much the whole driveway, or 2/3 of it, is out of the 100-foot buffer zone. But when you first come off the road, I would say we could be maybe 20 feet into the 20, 30 feet into the 100-foot buffer zone. We're not in the 50, which is back here. But because we probably will be in the 100, you know, for this little portion, we just wanted to have you guys come out, take a look. It is where the driveway is going to go. We just mowed. It was a field, so it's mowed. so you can see it pretty easy. We did get a permit in town, the contractor we're using to do the utilities met with the water department, the sewer department. There's a telephone pole here. They're gonna bring the utilities all in. Which would be to your left of the pole. And then the driveway would be right after the pole.
John, did you say you have town sewer and water?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. And where this, you'll see it, where this driveway goes, there's nothing, there's no trees, just field mowed. And that's why they want to do the lines over here, because they can kind of weave in trenches around the trees and stuff. Probably be no cutting really that we have to do in there, but theirs should be all out of the 100-foot anyways. So.
So I would say we should schedule a site visit for
Yeah.
both.
Do both at once.
Yeah. Oh, it's Friday afternoon?
Friday afternoon.
I don't know if other people can make one.
Yeah, I can.
3:15.
3:15
I
on. You
I
cannot,
cannot do Friday.
No, I can't either.
you want to see it?
I would, well, yeah, I'd
Yeah,
like to.
Okay, so we'll find another day then. Following Friday or next Thursday?
Thursday works, or the following Friday. Thursday or the following Friday both work for me.
We can't do
Thursday.
this, we can't do this Thursday. We don't have enough time to add,
Next
to
Thursday.
post it.
But you have yoga, so how about a week from Friday?
Yes.
Week from Friday? Does that work? What's the date?
The date,
19.
19.
Works for
Can we
me.
do, can we do it earlier in the week? I mean, doing site visits the end of Friday afternoon is not great for me, I gotta say.
All right, Monday, Tuesday,
How about
Wednesday.
Monday, the 22nd? Except for
Right
that's
before the meeting.
yoga.
Yoga too.
Earlier is better for me as the contractor's waiting to do the,
I don't feel like I have to see it. I
What
can't,
about Tuesday, the 16th?
right? People do Tuesday, the 16th?
I can do Tuesday.
I can't, but I'm okay to not see this one.
Tuesday, the 16th,
I could
good.
do. I could do.
Okay,
3:15.
3:15, Tuesday, the 16th.
okay,
John's.
15, Tuesday to 16th.
Okay.
okay,
Okay,
thank you.
thank you.
Next, we have a notice of intent for the Marion Fathers Eden Hill for the pump house, and I think they asked that that be continued.
Yes.
So that will be continued to the next meeting. Notice of intent, Kent Higgins, 46 Prospect Hill.
Are you guys the neighbors?
Yeah, we just really came to meet them.
Oh.
Whoever.
If you would like to.
Oh.
I'd like to see this.
If you can state your names for the record, please.
Marion Bob Huber.
What's
I
the
got you.
question?
I got it. I got you covered.
Okay.
How's it going? I'm Aaron. I'm with White Engineering and I'm representing Kent Higgins, the owner of 46 Prospect Hill Road. He's looking to build a single family home on the site with a gravel driveway, and we are also looking to tie in to town sewer. I have a full layout on the second page that we can get into. There is an intermittent stream that comes down the property and then crosses Prospect Hill Road on the west side. We were looking to do some invasive removals alongside of the intermittent stream, take out this buckthorn tree, and then have a series of plantings on both sides of the intermittent stream with some native trees that we have in a planting plan over here in both this area, and then have a pollinator garden running along the edge with these do not disturb wetland markers spaced every 10 feet along the pollinator garden. There's a well already drilled on site. And we are looking to also remove this ash tree, which is currently being swallowed up by bittersweet, and then another dead ash tree that sits up on the hill.
What's the distance to the stream?
The closest point, probably about 55 feet. We're trying to utilize the existing flat area on the site, because once you get up into this hill, you're right into ledge. This area down here is also flat, kind of start to deal with a zoning setback. And then where we could shift it over there, was more of a cost decision, because that'd be getting into ledge and blasting.
Anyone have questions?
No, I was hoping you had plans of the house to see what's it.
No. All our stuff is pretty two-dimensional, unfortunately.
We've known that property for 47 years, so very well aware of where the house is, where the house was.
Mm-hmm.
You remember Mr. Pensby?
Sure.
Yeah,
Mary was on the Concom.
yeah, yeah, I was.
Was the only people who went by our house in the winter were the
Yeah.
Pensby's.
Yeah. It was a shame the house is gone. It was absolutely lovely, the heart and soul that went into that house.
Well, I was gonna ask what, excuse me, are you gonna do anything with the greenhouse?
It's gone,
Well, this time, gonna build it or what?
Foundation's still there.
yeah.
Were you?
Greenhouse shed exists, the greenhouse foundation is crumbling.
Yeah, there is a small shed. You gotta kind of look between the shrubs coming up. But then there is a foundation and then another smaller foundation off to the side that are still sitting there, but they no longer exist.
Sir, can you state your name?
I'm Kent Higgins.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, thank you. The owner.
That's too bad, because the previous owner, Pensby, I think his father dragged it out of one of the big estates.
Elm Court.
Greenhouse, Elm Court, was
I
it?
think
Elm
Gary
Court.
Johnson has the frame, took the frame.
Oh, the greenhouse?
Yeah,
That's that other small foundation. It had a concrete foundation and a glass greenhouse over it. Somebody got the greenhouse.
Gary did.
Yeah, Gary.
So we should come take a look.
Okay.
I'm even told he had a wood stove in the greenhouse to
He
heat it.
did.
Oh, I haven't known nothing about that.
Yeah, but it's gone, you know, maybe the concrete's still there.
There was a wood stove.
Yeah.
Lisa,
Yeah.
it's Bill Charles. I mean, we've already had a site visit. Why do we
Yeah.
need to see it again?
Okay, if people are fine with it, did we see it with these plans?
Yeah.
I think we
Yes.
saw- Oh, okay, then we don't need to see it again.
You have any comments?
No,
We have no objection.
No,
We
none
just
at all.
wanted to meet
Sure.
Mr. Griff,
Higgins.
Higgins.
You want a motion to approve?
Go for it.
I'll make the motion, and I think the area along the stream is pretty well set.
I'll second.
Okay, all in favor?
Hi, Sally.
Lisa?
I don't.
Hi, Jamie.
Hi, Karen.
Hi, Bill R.
I Bill L.
Okay, you're good to go.
All right, thank you guys.
Thank you. So we
Do you
did,
have pictures, Mr. Higgins, of the old house?
There was a picture of the old house on the town property listing for the sale.
Yeah.
okay,
That house cottage,
It was the cutest little thing you ever saw in your life. It was a tiny house.
right.
It was tiny.
Yeah,
okay.
very
Thank you.
charming. Very
Good luck,
odd.
thank you.
It's an odd little house.
Very cool, it had a lot of charm.
Best thing they could have done was to save the greenhouse. That was a piece of history.
I do have one question on the Sabbath lawn. that's the Dugway property.
Yes,
I can stick around for them.
okay, we can,
I'm a little familiar with the project, so it might be a service.
that would be great. That's British. Okay, we'll get right to it. Is anyone here for tree removal requests for Phoebe Jensen and Natalie Jensen?
Probably not. I'll tell you about that one.
This is where I got our name in this.
They've already had this approved, but they can't find the paperwork. So we basically just need to sign it.
Okay, that's fine. It's fine.
That's easy.
Yeah, we can do that.
Easy as whatever.
Yeah. So why don't we,
And it's the same with the Searle, the 5 Wheatley, we already signed that. We sent it out. I've got the one little green paper, but I never got the second green paper, so we have to do it again. We've had two of those go.
so I'm gonna jump ahead because we have Sabat's here and we have you here.
Yep.
And we have Dave here. If we can jump ahead and talk about Zero Dugway. I guess Zero Dugway first, since we have people here. Dave, I don't know if you wanna start?
Yeah, I'm happy to start. I had a very long phone conversation with Brent White this morning about his inspection on Saturday during the very significant rain event that we had and what his observations were. And the impression I got from Brent was that I think he was seeing the same things that I have been seeing at that site, which is there's too much volume of water getting to the top of the driveway from the house site, as opposed to that water being shunted off to the side. And Brent has some preliminary ideas for how to deal with that. My understanding is he's going to be meeting with a contractor either tomorrow or Thursday to try to come up with some fixes to this problem. But in short, there are kind of like 3 subcatchments of drainage at this site. There's the driveway, there's the house site, and then there's all the water that comes onto the footprint of the house site from the hill that's just to the north of the house. And so the potential fixes to this problem would be take all that water that comes down to the house site that's completely clean, meaning it's coming through that forest north of the site on the hill, and divert that to either side of the footprint of the construction area around the house. And then there's the house site itself, which I think when we approved the stormwater permit for this project, the intent was to take all that water from the house site and send it to a temporary basin, which is just to the east of the top of the driveway. And that's where all that basin is actually in place right now. And what that's intended to do permanently is take all the drainage from the roofs of the new house and the gutters and send it underneath the driveway and dump it into this temporary base, or dump it into this basin. But the idea was to actually use that as a temporary construction sediment trap during the construction phase. And my impression is that actually has not been online. So the gutters are not on the house. That basin that's at the top of the driveway has not actually been active yet. And way too much water is actually getting to the top of the driveway and then coming down to the bottom of the driveway. And that's what's washing out the shoulder of Dugway Road. So I think Brent and I are on the same page with what the potential fixes for this are. But he needs to meet with a contractor and come up with an actual plan to do that. And that's the intent that he has in the next couple of days.
We've had comments from the neighbors. And they're really quite upset by the damage that's happened to the road.
Yes, I reviewed those.
And I would add, Ron went out over the weekend and he said the water is now crossing the road and going into the brook, which I think previously it had not. And he's also talking to the highway department, because there's a lot of concern about the damage that's happened to the road and how that should be, who should be covering that.
Yeah. Understood.
Yeah.
How big would the culvert be, David? Did you get any details from Brett?
I'm sorry, what culvert?
Under the construction driveway or final driveway?
So some of the potential fixes that Brent expressed to me during our call was actually putting potentially a new basin at the hairpin turn of the driveway to capture more water and store it. Creating some trenches, upgrading of the house to send the water to either side of the woods so it doesn't even get to the house site or the driveway. And potentially creating a bigger basin at the bottom of the driveway. There's a basin there right now on the, if you enter the driveway on the right, there's a basin there right now, potentially making that one bigger. So those are the kind of preliminary ideas he had, but he has to meet with the contractor and they need to work through it.
Okay.
They understand urgency, right?
Well, yes, Sally, they do. And I think the most important thing was Brent needed to actually see things when water was flowing over that site to actually have a qualified opinion about what to do about it. So we've been in a drought for about 6 weeks now, and we got dumped on with rain on Saturday, and that's when he went out and did his inspection. So he actually saw how water flows across that site. So I think that's given him a sense of what the potential fixes are.
You did show me some pictures and videos from Saturday. So I just can clarify that we have kind of an idea of how it was moving.
So, and I mean this as a respectful question, but and I don't even know if you were involved in the beginning, but we had so many concerns about all the vegetation that was cut on this property and the slope, and that, we kept saying we were really concerned about stormwater. So just, whatever you can learn from this going forward would be good, because this was not a good result.
Yeah, we keep encountering these things. We did actually vote to do a cease and desist on this property.
That happened?
It has not yet happened, but it's because this is really serious, and we're very concerned the fact that it's harming town roads as well as
crossing into the brook.
Crossing into the brook is serious stuff. And fining is an option.
So is that, now that Brent understands what's happening where, is there the idea that it will be addressed pretty quickly? And
I think my understanding is Brent is going to meet with the contractor either tomorrow or Thursday, and they're going to come up with a plan.
But we've been talking about this for a month.
Yeah.
4 years, I think.
The same problem.
I think it's 4 years.
So why?
3 or 4 years.
Why has there been so much conversation and
I don't
nothing's
know.
been done?
We've been out
It
to,
hasn't been 3 or 4 years because the project wasn't started until last year.
no, but it's been months. And we've been out to do a site visit 3 or 4 times at least with the same conclusion that the basin at the top of the hill at the driveway is not catching the water. And therefore it's all coming down the driveway and it's going onto the road and it's going down the side of the road and it's eroding the side of the road. And the last time we were there after, which was several months ago, after a significant storm, we saw the erosion along the road. It had not yet crossed the road to go into the brook. But now it sounds as though that may be the case, which is even more serious than what we've been worried about all along.
So can we ask through you
I
that
agree with all of that, Sally.
we ask that Brent consider this an emergency and, talk to contractors as soon as possible and get right on it?
I will do that.
Yeah, we have, at least for the next week, it looks like we have a dry spell. So there's a good amount of time here to get something in place. But I hear you. I hear you.
May
Yeah.
I speak?
Certainly.
No.
Yeah.
We are, we hear you. We want the committee to know that we are committed to addressing this. We just learned about the issue regarding the stormwater runoff. And I assure you that we are committed to being good stewards of the property. We previously submitted a list of trees that we are obligated to replant 200 trees. And we will, we sent a list of native trees that we want to replant. We are committed to ensuring that the stormwater is minimized. So we hear the commission. I just want to emphasize that it's important to you, it's important to us, but we will get out in front on this as well. And I'm speaking as not as the contractor, I'm not speaking as an engineer, I'm just speaking as the owner of the property.
Well, ultimately, the buck stops with you.
That's true, and that's why we're on this call. We recognize our responsibility.
And I would be having very strong words with my contractor were I you.
We, like I said, we will be out in front on this. I just want to assure the committee that we recently learned about it. So now that we're aware of it, it is a priority to us. I know it's a priority to you. I'm simply echoing what David Cameron said earlier, and that is that we treat this as an urgent matter as well.
Right.
And again, my
So it
purpose
was in the
my
minutes.
that we're involved as well.
I appreciate you showing up.
Yes.
And,
thank you.
coming to talk with us. That's very important.
But we are
Thank you.
concerned that your contractor never mentioned any of
It was
this.
definitely a year ago.
Yeah.
It was September minutes.
Irresponsible on his part.
I'm not
Down here, 0 Duckwood.
reporting to you regularly on what the plan is. I know that David Cameron is in communication with Brent White, and I know that David will probably report on the proposed plan at the next meeting. And we are also amenable to showing up and reporting what we know, but we will try to keep the pieces in line, and we are committed to ensuring that this is done right.
Thank you.
We appreciate that. Thank you.
And for clarity, it was the September 24th minutes of last year that it was the alarming stormwater runoff. So, and Sally wrote them, we approved them.
Yeah, as I said, we had
A year ago.
concerns. We had
Definitely
concerns
over a year ago.
Right from the beginning. Okay, well, thank you. And we'll keep this on the agenda and see that it gets repaired. David, while we have you, do you also want to talk about Eden Hill?
Yeah, I don't have too much to update the commission on regarding Eden Hill. Sally and Ron and I. Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
Sally and Ron and I worked on a draft letter last week for Eden Hill. I understand that Ron went out to the site on Saturday when the heavy rains were occurring, and evidently the site was stable and not discharging stormwater onto the road.
That's what he said.
No one from Bar and Bar has given me any updates. I've had radio silence from them. But evidently they did something to keep things under control, because if things were in rough shape at Dugway, but they were perfect at Eden Hill, they must have done something.
Something had to be done, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So I that's all I can say. I don't really know what the
That's good.
situation is.
And you're confident that what's going on at the pump station is okay?
I haven't looked at the pump station site. It looks like you guys just received an NOI for that. Is that correct?
We did. Well, we
Yeah,
got an
so-
emergency certification for it. And when we went out and looked at it, it was pretty alarming. There was a very large, uncovered, unfettered pile of dirt that had already breached the silt fence by about 6 feet. And it was pretty scary considering how close it was to the bog. And there was all I can think of to call it was a sort of a driveway from one side of the property to the other, which had obviously had a lot of heavy traffic, construction traffic going on it. And it had torn up the grass and created a top, just a dirt top, which was flowing down the hill from a very long distance. And heading toward the site and the bog.
Okay, so I have not seen that part of the site. Why don't you send me a copy of the NOI? And I will
Okay.
put that on my list to get out there and take a look at things. I
Okay.
think the exposed soil you guys saw might have been the remnants of them doing an underground utility line there and then just covering it up. My understanding is they hydroseeded that, but I haven't seen it, so I need to go take a look.
Well, it was raw when we saw it.
And I think David's right. I think that's where they buried the new pipe to go up to the town water supply tank at the top of the hill to connect it to the
Yeah.
pump station.
But there was that mountain of dirt, Bill, you remember.
Oh, I do. And I did get a copy and looked at at their proposal. And I guess the thing that, they sort of make mention that this is, abutting the Compusa bog. It's, and I'm not good at all the, it's an area of critical environmental, and there are all these factors that say this is a really sensitive site, and yet there doesn't seem to be much of anything in the proposed project that they're talking about that sort of acknowledges that and says, we're going to be especially careful because we know there are endangered species of plants adjacent to the site, that it's adjacent to the Compusa bog, which is like, a priceless resource. And it's just sort of like, oh yeah, we're going to do our usual stuff. And you look at the boilerplate on the big plans that were included, and they're talking about, sidewalks, handicap accessible curve cuts and stuff. It's just boilerplate stuff plopped in there. I found it disturbing.
Jess said she was quite sure that we had already lost several endangered species.
Where the big mound of soil was, she thought they were endangered species beneath
So,
it.
I went out.
Never to be seen again.
No, not anymore.
I went out there went out there again after our visit. I drove over to look, to spook around a bit, and my impression, my gut feeling was that up to the right from the pump site, were up that wide swath of driveway of dirt, they had been piling dirt from the big construction site at the end of that.
Oh.
And they moved a lot. It looked like they moved a lot of that dirt. That was the pile that was next to the bog. that there wasn't any other hole around, big enough to produce that much dirt. So I think that came from the actual major construction site, and they
On
were
top.
looking, they had someplace to dump it.
Yeah, so what I would propose is that if you guys have a current NOI for that project, and it looks like at least that's on your agenda, can you send me a
We
copy
do.
of that?
Yes.
And I'll do a site visit over that part of the portion, property.
Okay.
I'm a little confused. Bill, that big pile of dirt you said possibly could have come from the major construction?
Yeah, from the new residence construction.
And that's located on a downslope that would go into the bog?
It was right
Yeah.
next to the bog.
You're kidding.
It was,
No.
How about any kind of silt fence, surrounding it?
It was an inadequate silt fence.
Yeah.
So
No.
18 inches of silt fence on a 12, 14 foot high pile of dirt.
Yeah, I mean, you could cover the dirt too to stop the
Dirt was
erosion.
not covered.
when we saw
No.
it.
So, sorry, I just want to ask one question. Was there any indication that any exposed soil that was stockpiled next to Compusa Bog made it down into the actual wetland?
I
It was
can't
on its
imagine.
way,
I
but
can't imagine
no.
that
The rain, we had that heavy rain.
No, I guess, I'm
nobody's
sorry, I'll be blunt. I'm gonna ask the question. Do we have any evidence that like sediment made it from that pile down into the wetland?
Not when
David,
we
the
saw-
answer is no.
Do not have evidence.
Okay. That doesn't mean it's not a risk. I'm not trying to discount the concerns here, but I'm just trying to understand what the situation is.
Did I send you the pictures, David?
I don't think so.
Yeah. So we were there during the drought, our site visit.
Yeah.
And the water, the dirt had already penetrated the drift fence in the direction of the bog. And now we've had this major rain event, and I can run out there tomorrow and see what it looks like. But I'm sure it'll give us a better indication of just what has happened when there's a rain event.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it wasn't a scheduled site visit. We were told it was a violation and went out.
And,
This wasn't a site
and
visit.
Jess Toro was really freaked out. There's a conservation restriction on that property. And I was not familiar with it. But she was, and she was extraordinarily alarmed by it.
Yep.
Yep.
Okay. Anything else on that? Okay, so we have things to sign. And while we're signing, and under other business, I wanted to talk about Berkshire Botanical Garden parking. And David, I think you're good. You're welcome to stay. Would you like to?
Okay, if you guys think you're all set with me for now, I'm good. I will get you a quote for the DeSisto property, and I guess I will wait to see to receive a copy of the NOI for Eden Hill for the pump station.
Great. Thank you very much.
All right.
Thanks,
Thank you.
David.
You're welcome. Good night.
Good night. Thank you, David.
I wanted to talk about Berkshire Botanical Gardens because we had a request from the Botanical Gardens to do whatever they were calling it, to change the parking, and the attorney said we could not, they really needed an amendment. They couldn't do whatever they were proposing. And it looked to me from driving by and comments I heard from people that went to the woodworking event that the parking had in fact been changed. I don't know if anyone else has seen it and can confirm that.
I was gone all weekend.
Have you seen it, Bill?
I was there, and yes, they were using the reduced footprint for the parking, I would say, for the woodworking event.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
So
they were and the folks, I had a friend who was showing there, and he warned me not to mention that I was involved in that at all, because the word that was going around was that the town of Stockbridge was responsible for reducing the amount of parking in that lot and thus
Okay.
forcing everybody to park in the lot down the street.
Oh, that's
So
nice.
we were pretty much getting badmouthed by somebody who was spreading information to the Berkshire Woodworking Guild people who were showing, which irritated me a bit, as you might
Sure.
guess. Like they wanted to reduce it. And then they turn around and they start blaming us for the fact.
So they did what they were told they shouldn't do, correct?
Except the thing is that what they did was make it smaller.
Yes.
So what they did was not really a violation. It was not a violation of the conservation restriction. Unless they use it for more than 25 days.
Okay.
Because they could mow the whole thing and park up the whole thing
Yeah.
if they wanted to. But the change from their perspective would be if they could use it for 40 days.
Right.
Okay.
So making it smaller from our perspective is fine.
Okay.
Unless they blame us for it.
Yeah.
They blame
Well,
the town of Stockbridge for the parking issues.
Did they name names? Just
I didn't
curious.
hear any names, but they said town of Stockbridge.
Just referring to this note here.
All right, well, did anyone have anything else to say on that then? I don't think there's anything else on other business that we need to discuss. Upcoming business, we just have things to sign.
The trees end up growing.
Okay, Joe?
What's that? You got it.
Right.
So daguerreotype? Oh. Wow.
All right, so
That's too bad that didn't get caught. We didn't even know about it though, did we?
well, we had the emergency certification. And we went up and looked at that and what they said sounded fine. Until Just Toro said, oh my God.
Up that.
Not fine.
Not fine.
Rocks here.
Right.
And then it could go like
That
that
was
and then
fine.
rocks.
Sally, do you need any of us who are online to come in and sign, or you got enough folks to sign tonight?
We're good, thank you. We're
All
good.
right.
We have
Then I'm
we
going
have-
to say good night to you all.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's
All right.
better.
Thanks.
So I don't know
Dying
if you
need.
need to stay either. I mean, I think we're done.
Well, I know
Okay,
that
well, thanks. Thanks, everybody.
you
Bye-bye.
have this.
Unless you have a comment. Good night. Thank you.
Good night, thanks.
Maybe even.
Yeah.
All right, so this is the certificate of compliance
And then
This is the ice.
for,
Against it.
um,
For the pine all along here.
the Searle property at 5 Wheatley, which we already signed, but they couldn't find the paperwork. It's odd, we've had two pieces go awry recently. One I actually.
I think it has to do with those requirements.
You said you had the green slip on.
I had the green slip that I sent it, but I didn't have the green slip that it was received.
Yeah.
And sometimes things get lost in the mail. I know that happens.
So this is the Jensen tree removal. So, it was already done. So
Would that give you enough?
Maybe all this area here to be native.
But would this give you enough?
Yeah, well,
Okay.
something like that, ilk, you know,
Okay.
maybe all the way up to, then back, so you start here.
Oh, and I did have, as we're
This
signing,
would be
I have one more question.
That's a good idea.
The slope is.
We had a call from someone in the public
Architect.
that on Ice Glen Road,
These
they're mowing
transitions.
past, there's I don't know whose property it
Is
is.
that the
Pull over for
Massachusetts
parking is on the
standard thing?
left.
It's the whole country now.
Ice Glen Road,
Yeah,
and that the property past that is mowing close to the wetland.
I think it's an inch and 12
You know who that is?
no.
per foot.
Perfect.
All right, so this is Inez Stewart, which is 1 Housatonic, which we have applications under Scenic Mountain Act, the Stormwater bylaw, and the Notice of Intent. So we have to sign it 3 times. And did I send out Heron Pond? Oh, no, do we sign Heron Pond?
Yep, the signature page on this.
Was that the signature page for this? No.
It's all the same property, so maybe it was that one, the signature page there.
I don't have to get recorded, so it doesn't really matter. No, maybe it does. I guess it does. I need a computer news to do those for me.
Here's this. Is that the right?
I think so. There should be 3 pieces. It does not go with this.
We done?
Good. So if anybody's counting, my husband broke his ankle last week.
Wow.
Broke his ankle.
I saw it wobbling at the dump.
We have a motion, we can talk about that.
A motion to adjourn,
Yeah.
because ankles isn't on the agenda.
I'll make the motion to adjourn.
I'll second it.
All in favor? Hi, Lisa.
Do we turn these off now?